All right, before we get to Jeremy Corbell's recent UFO release, I just want to show you what it is. Okay, look, guys, I don't want to waste your time. I believe this is the sun reflecting off the camera lens of the FLIR camera, and I'm going to prove it right here. Okay, that black dot you see up top, that is the sun or the moon. Either way, doesn't matter. It's something reflecting. You see when the camera moves, the object moves, and it's a classic lens reflection. That's it. Took me 5, maybe 8, 9, 10 minutes to debunk this, but I guarantee you this will be on Fox News, CNN, and all over the UFO circuit of these people claiming it's a UFO. All right, so look, let's get into the video. More details to come. We're going to break this thing down. Thank you for joining us, and here we go. All right, so let's just go through it together. And by the way, I think I've already debunked this, and I think I already know what's going on here, but we'll pretend like I don't, and we'll go through it. Now, remember Jeremy Corbell used this weird measurement of time. He called it UTC. And I thought that was kind of odd because it was 11, and that's incredibly important because is this daytime? Is this nighttime? Because now the FLIR camera can make daytime look like nighttime look like daytime, etc. Okay, that's just important to remember. All right, you'll see this object come down kind of left to right, do this little weeble wobble maneuver through the clouds, and it goes off to the northwest. Now, another thing I noticed, whenever the object moves, okay, the camera seems to be panning. Now, what have we learned from my many NASA videos? Okay, the object needs to move independently. Okay, so it's like when you have a glare on your cell phone and you're recording like a video, and when you move your camera, the glare moves, right? We've all done it, trying to get the sun out of the shot, things like that. And that's exactly what I think is happening here, okay? That is the sun up there, and when the camera pans to the right, the object goes along with it. When the camera stops, the object stops. Now, of course, look, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Also, look at this jump cut right here. You'll notice that for whatever reason, Corbell or whomever put in this edit right there, and that's always a red flag for me. Anytime I see an edit in these videos, I immediately get, my spidey senses start to tingle, right? Why? Just give us the untouched, unedited file and we'll do all the editing. So that was another red flag. And like I said, I don't like that timestamp. It's almost like he's trying to hide information. Was it daytime? Was it nighttime? Because that's a big deal, because if it was daytime, it would make a big difference in how we investigate and kind of dissect this video. So I think that's why he left that part out. Okay, but I think that's probably the sun up there. It could be the moon. Either way, doesn't matter. I think it's reflecting off the camera lens, and they've turned up the contrast and made it look like this, ginormous black disc flying through the clouds. That is my honest opinion. I don't know if anyone else has come up, with this conclusion, but that's what I think it is. So now what I find probably more interesting are these weird, like, metallic orbs in the clouds. I was really kind of focused on that. Like, forget about this black blob. Like, what are all these little metallic orbs and light sources kind of floating around the video? And I haven't heard hardly anyone talk about that. So look, in my opinion, up top, that's the sun and it's reflecting. All right, let's start out by just reading this quick post by Jeremy Corbell. Investigative journalists Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp obtained and are revealing for the first time military filmed footage of a UAP, officially documented and cataloged within intelligence community investigation as disc-shaped. The UAP of unknown origin displayed abrupt movement and intelligent control with the absence of thermal propulsion signatures. Official designation UAP was made by the United States Department of Defense. This designation is currently maintained. Now, this was back in 2020, November. And I believe it was somewhere over, I want to say Iraq, Middle East. There's the coordinates right there. Okay, filmed with a FLIR, that is the FLIR Thermographic Forward-Looking Infrared. Okay, now here's how they describe the event. Filmed by a platform operating under the direction of the United States Air Force, the object was initially passively tracked and is described in official documentation as navigating through the clouds. The UAP appears to demonstrate an abrupt directional directional change, atmospheric disruption was noted in the case documentation. By the way, I've read them, as was the absence of traditional thermal propulsion signatures during performance. Its origin, intent, and capabilities are unknown. Okay, now, first of all, let me just go ahead and say it right off the bat. I've already figured out what this is, and it'll be at the end of the video. So, you know, that's the thing about being a UFO investigator. You can quickly kind of figure out what's going on, or at least it's my opinion. I think I've, you know, cracked the code here. All right, so there you have it. Now, look, let me just use this last few minutes to kind of vent here. This is exactly why I have just kind of separated myself from the entire content creating UFO community, because it took me 10-15 minutes to debunk this. I mean, my last video was another debunk, and that's not my goal. I want these to be real. I want them to be debunkable. I want them to, you know, this to be the best proof and evidence we have, the smoking gun, whatever you want to call it. But this is ridiculous. And I'll tell you what pisses me off more than anything. You know, these guys are leading the charge, right? They're the tip of the spear, the trailblazers, you know, the pioneers. This is the young blood taking over the UFO community. And, you know, and this is what we're getting. You know, people like me and others, these really small voices in the UFO community, are virtually unheard. This video, you know, I said it would be all over Fox, CNN, MSNBC. It already is. This video is already being touted as smoking gun evidence, but, you know, it took some guy with a few thousand subs on YouTube 10 minutes to debunk it, but that will not make the news. So, and like I said, I don't find any joy or pleasure in doing this, but it's not a UFO. This is not, you know, little green men from another planet. I wish it was, but it's not. All right, we'll see you on the next one.